On this AVNation special, we talk with Pace University about a brand new course of study for folks looking to get into the AV industry. All that and more next on this AVNation special.
The network for the AV industry.
What are you listening to?
This
is AV.
This
is AVNation.
This is AVNation.
This is an AVNation special, educating AV. It's Tim Albright with AVNation with an AVNation special, taking a special look at higher education and the AV industry. With me to talk about that very thing is Rich Miller and George Chacko, both from Pace University. Welcome, gentlemen.
Thank you, Tim. Glad to be here.
Thanks, Tim. We're happy to be here and see you today.
Good to see you guys. I got to meet these guys in person over in New Jersey. I'll say this from time to time. My day job is I run marketing for CTI out of St. Louis. But we opened a brand spanking new office in New York Metro is what we're calling it, but it was in Lyndhurst, New Jersey. George came over and was nice enough to kind of present what they were doing there, and that's actually what we're talking about today. Higher education and really education for the industry, education for the AV industry. George, we'll start with you on this. You guys have started one course. You're developing right now an undergraduate degree, eventually, moving towards a larger one. Talk for a second about what the impetus, what the nugget was that started you guys out down this road of, hey, we need a course that teaches AV.
I'll try to keep it short because I've been in the industry for so long, but it feels like so long. I started off as a young, bright-eyed IT student who needed a job on campus, and one day came out of the classroom and saw we're hiring sign, went in, got a job, and I was pushing carts for 2 years. Didn't know what I was doing. They told me, plug in this projector to this computer, and that's what I did. Here's a speaker on a wooden crate with wheels, wheel it across campus and plug in a microphone. And that's what I did. Somewhere along the lines, I fell in love with AV and I started working full-time at Pace. I left Pace. I was at Bloomberg for a couple of years, and then I came back to Pace. And, even though my degrees are in IT, I just always found a way to come back to AV, and I fell in love with AV. And that's where I met Rich as well, just a couple of years ago, right, Rich? Not that long ago.
Yes. Before we lost our hair.
Before we lost our hair. Rich and I started talking about it a couple of years ago, just pre-COVID. We just started talking about it, and we're like, what's our qualification to be where we are? I'm the IT director for all classroom technologies. IT director, yes, that's right, for all classroom technologies at Pace University. And, what's my real qualification to say, this is the right projector, this is the right throw distance, this is acoustically correct. I don't know, I pushed a bunch of AV carts around. We called them cows back in the day, by the way. It's called computer on wheels. Over the years, I've just wanted to give back to the AV industry that I've honestly been in love with. I love coming into work every day. I love what I do. And I never knew how to do that. And this, I figured, was my opportunity. This was my legacy, so to speak, right? And Rich and I started talking about it. And we thought, this is something that sounds really cool to us. I'm not sure anybody else will be interested. It's AV. It's like you plug in a couple of speakers. What else is there to it? So we brought this idea to the chair of the MCVA department, the communication department, Dr. Paul Zeke. And he has been an absolute champion for us. Since the moment he heard this, he was like, this is flipping what we're looking for, right? So he was like, this is it. This is what we need. This is the new stuff that we want to bring in, because they're fast growing, rapidly growing department, and they're looking to add new subject matter. And he was just absolutely a champion, saying, this is what we need. And from there, it just kind of took off.
Yeah, and their department that George is referencing falls under the Dyson College of Arts and Sciences, which is where I currently operate out of at Pace. It's the largest college at Pace, and it does all of the core courses, everything from science to English to math and all that fun stuff. But the MCVA department specifically is one of the true experiential departments where they push that hands-on learning, like the entire from 0 to 10, 0 to 100, however, like nothing is non-experiential. Like that's kind of the whole point. Like George and I even have gotten to the point where we don't even want to put lectures up half the time because the students are already so engulfed in trying to get their hands on things and stuff, labs that we're doing in class. So the fit was perfect. Like George mentioned, I came up in a similar, I guess, farm system, if you will, working for him, with him, with him again. Like we've worked in many roles through the years. We still work together, in a role now in our daily 9 to 5s. And about a year ago, this all kind of just popped up. And when he says Dr. Zeke's been a champion, that's definitely an understatement. He's been the definition of a champion for us. He's been behind us every step of the way, and he's kind of given us free reign to design this educational program, if you will, from scratch. And as the first higher ed institution to do this, I know George likes that when we say that.
Yes.
We're not looking for credit, but we want to celebrate that he and I have put something together and we want to build it.
So let me ask you. You mentioned there, Rich. You guys are one of the first company, the first university to do this. Talk for a second about connecting with other universities, connecting with other colleges. George, I know you were involved in what at the time was called CCUMC. Now they've changed their name to ETC. How has that connection and those connections helped you guys maybe evolve and connect to other institutions to see what they're doing or see how they can help?
Yeah, absolutely. And it's that's a great point, because going to CCUMC, now ETC, made me realize that I'm not the only one. It's a community. I'm going to quote Donnie Merritt here when he said, it was a family I lost that I didn't know I lost, right? It was a whole bunch of people that thought like me, the thought process, the classroom technologies. And the one thing in common that we all had is no one had an AV background, right? We had anywhere from English majors to IT majors to psychology majors. But no one necessarily, we all have CTS at the end of our name, and that's our only paper qualification, so to speak. But that was the one common theme that came up. So when we started designing this program, I talked to Don Merritt over at UCF, and I talked to Joe Way over at USC, and a few other folks, and they were like, this is fantastic. We talked to Matt Wilk over at Rutgers, and he was like, let us know how you got this off the ground, because we would love to do something like that. So that thought process has obviously been there for everybody. But it's like one of those things I was like, I want to do it, but then it just kind of takes the back seat because we're all involved in, getting pulled in a million different ways. But that thought process, that similar thought process between all these different institutions around the country really got us thinking that this is something that we think has potential if we pursue it. But furthermore, we've also had discussions that, hey, maybe this is something based on the experiential learning aspect of it. This is, maybe this is something that we can collaborate on. So a consortium of sorts, right? Students can be at Pace and take a class in UCF or Notre Dame or wherever, right? That's a huge plus. Do I dare say maybe we could be in the metaverse?
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, I'm envisioning, George, as you say that, I'm envisioning what Alicia Henley talked to us about, right? The triangle analogy, having like a triangle from New York out to the West Coast to California. And you mentioned Joe Way at USC, and down back to Florida at UCF with Donnie, and back up here our way. So we're trying to build that triangle, I think, now. And the basis of that triangle is this MCA 165 course, which is the first course that's running right now during this spring 2023 semester. And we actually ironically just hit the halfway point on that. So 2 more courses in the pipeline as well. So, things are moving forward. And the collaboration is key. George and I, again, I'm not looking to be credit hogs. We want to build this. We want support of other people. We want to share this. Just like George shared everything I learned from him through the years.
Oh, that's so sweet.
Well, maybe not everything.
I'm sorry that I've taught you so many terrible things.
I was gonna say, we
He
didn't
taught me how
say
to
how
push.
much Rich knew. We just said everything he knew he learned from you.
That's fair. That's fair. But I will always have that triangle analogy in my head now, ever since we did that recording with Alicia a couple weeks ago. And that's something I love that idea, because George and I think both can visualize that now as we're continuing to build this program, and we really do. We have those contacts, especially because of the ETC connection. So we're really hoping that we can build on that.
So let me bring something else in here, because you guys have been talking about partnerships and the triangle. I'm going to bring in another triangle that you've probably already thought of, but this is a little bit self-serving, and that's with not other universities, but other organizations inside the industry that can use what you guys are creating. And that's, again, my day job is at CTI. I run marketing there. I can't tell you how many job openings that we have, and not just us, but competitors. You got manufacturers who are hurting for applicants who know AV and get AV. Yeah, they need IT folks. Yes, they need engineers, but they also need folks that know AV and live and breathe AV. Certainly, you've partnered with Avixa to help, on the CTS side and getting that education. What other partnerships are you doing beyond, the organization, but more into the integrators, the dealers, the manufacturers, and the distributors?
I'm a huge fan of CTI because of my good friend George Maglio. I cannot say enough about the man. He has been.
Is it because you guys have the same name?
Probably.
Absolutely. I mean, anytime there's a George, we gotta. No. Maglio has been. He has been so good to us. He's always telling us about these opportunities. He's readily available. He's like, anytime you need internships, just let me know. We're there. And Red, who's fantastic in designing stuff,
and is also a George.
And he's also a George.
Oh my goodness.
Maglio offered Red could come give a quick 30-minute crash course for students that are ready to take the CTS, so on and so forth. So, yeah, I mean, that partnership in itself is amazing, and I cannot thank George enough for that. But folks like Gina Sansevero, she's always in touch with us. She's given us ideas. She's given us, all these kind of tidbits about the industry and how she can help. Crestron has been a huge, huge partner for us. Can't thank the folks enough at Crestron, because we're actually working on an internship with them, which hopefully eventually develops into a co-op program, right? Mm-hmm. And at the end of the day, really, I go back to my time at Bloomberg. When I left Pace, I was 20-something years young and silly, thought I knew everything I needed to know about AV, and I went into Bloomberg, and the first day they told me, oh, I need you to go change the bulbs on these rear projection TVs in the NPR. And I'm like, yeah, what's the big deal? I've changed bulbs and projectors all the time. I went behind that wall and I had no idea what anything was. There was a lift there, there was there were covers, and I didn't know what I was doing. Day 3, I think they told me I need to use a pull line to pull the XLR cable out of the microphone, and I gotta solder the XLR cable, and I was like, I am so screwed. I don't know how to do any of this. I'm probably gonna burn something of myself trying to solder that cable. So, the end of the day, this is beneficial for everybody. While I'm thankful for everybody and their partnerships, for example, one of our courses, we crimped Cat 6 cables, right? And students loved that class. Mm-hmm. We had students, I wish we had video of this for promotional video, but there were students sprawled out on the floor, just kind of terminating each end. And, they had to plug it into a laptop and a port and make sure it was live at the end. Mm-hmm. There was just cable shards everywhere. Typically, I should get mad, but Rich and I were so happy about how well the students took to it that we were excited about it. We didn't mind cleaning up the space. Yeah. Until we had to. But the students that go into the real world won't have to worry about that. They will know. I'm not saying they will know everything there is to know about it. Not everyone coming out of college does. But you won't have to start on that ground level, right? I learned by losing some skin, my nails, my finger, whatever it was, right? I'm sure there's tech around university and Bloomberg with my blood stain on it, because that's just how we learn.
That's gory.
Yeah, right. But these students will have a leg up when they go into the industry, and these partnerships can only help. Whether even if it's just our, we partner with the MCVA program. They have journalism, they have filming and editing, or whatever it is. No matter what field these students go into, they're going to be ready because they understand how the industry works. They're going to be ready because they understand how the tech works. So I think these partnerships are, aside from our internal partnerships, like Dr. Paul Z, our CIO, Dr. Beth Gordon, she's been a fantastic partner. She's always encouraging us to, go the extra mile and make these things happen. So all these partnerships are so critical to us.
Zeke's ears must be ringing because I literally just got a text from him. Like, no, I'm not even kidding. I couldn't have planned that any better.
Well, we were waiting for 2 days for him to respond. So.
George, I want to piggyback quickly off of what you were mentioning, right? With the so to give everybody an idea of what we're thinking with this program. So we have the one course off the ground. We have 2 more courses in the pipeline, and by pipeline I mean they're almost ready to roll. The great part about partnering with the department we're partnering with is they have a really great infrastructure already. They have a great workflow on how things kind of operate and how they intertwine with each other. So there's a lot of other great professors there, Sweet Lou, Michelle Pulaski, Heather Hayes, and a lot of our courses we kind of can dovetail into theirs and vice versa. And what we're able to do, what we're hoping to do, especially with the minor, is have our 3 courses allow these students to pick a 4th course from a pre-existing pool of media, communication, visual arts, lighting, directing. There's producing the horror, producing the comedy, all these amazingly cool courses that are offered. Sports broadcasting, and then the 5th course. This is where I'm tying it back to the co-op. The 5th course is for them. Not many minors require this, but there's already a pre-existing internship course, if you will, within within the MCVA department, and we're going to require these students because of that experiential angle we want. That 13, 14, 15th credit is going to be them doing some sort of internship, whether it's at Crestron, at CTI, whether it's at Pace with George's department. We're thinking outside the box too of different ways. It's endless. We've already had 2 students in our intro course come up to us last week, actually, before spring break, and say, hey, I want to stay on campus this summer. Is there a way for you to help me get an internship? We had a couple students ask us, hey, I'm graduating in 2026. Am I going to be able to take your minor? Is it going to be ready by then? Like, we left class the other night, like with smiles on our face, like ear to ear smiles, because
definitely
of that.
Warm and toasty.
It was definitely a warm and toasty moment. It was phenomenal. It was awesome. But yeah, we're really stoked about the way we're going to be able to tie in the connection right into the real world, to some sort of job opportunity, hopefully, for them.
That is amazing. Guys, as we wrap this up here, talk for a second to another university that is, we can make fun of Joe Way all day, and I generally do. But whether that is USC or it's Notre Dame or it's a small community college, somewhere, talk to them and what would you say if they're like, oh my gosh, this is fantastic. We have something like we don't have something like this, but we have some of those intern courses, right? Or we've got a media department that we could fit right in. How do they collaborate with you? How do they complement you and learn from you and create kind of this consortium like you guys were talking about?
That's one part we are still working on. This is so new that we do still need to kind of work out a framework with other universities on how this will work. But again, it's about like, that's a tough one. Rich, you got anything?
No, I think what George is getting at is really let's use what we've started. Let's talk. Just like I made that, George, we got an Instagram message this morning from a company over in Scotland.
All right.
That we connected with. I mean, we didn't know that we were even international. I guess we're international already. Like, I'm saying that partially kidding, but like, they reached out saying on their staff, I believe their company is an integrator or whatever. It doesn't matter what they are, but so we've reached we've reached 0, which is pretty freaking cool. They asked us to like reach out. They want to talk to us, like a chat in general. They said it's awesome. I could pull up the DMs and tell you exactly what they said. They have somebody that used to be in the education space on their staff, and they're like,
and they say they have like an education program that they partner with.
Yeah,
or like that.
They're just very interested to hear. Like they basically said how amazing. I'm gonna pull it up and read it word for word because I thought it was really freaking cool. To be honest with you, it was.
He's getting really excited. You could tell, right?
I think your education ideas are mind blowing, and we could branch it worldwide.
Very nice.
I mean, I don't want to get too crazy here. I'm gonna reel it in a little bit on myself, but that was cool. Like that was unprompted. Like I don't even know who they are. We're gonna Zoom with them in the next few weeks, but I think things like that are what we're looking for. Like anybody that's willing to be part of this and help us build this. And man, it would be really, I mean, cool, so cool.
Education typically, historically, has been siloed, right? You go to Pace University, you get a degree from Pace University. You go to Penn State, you get a degree from Penn State, so on and so forth, right? There has to be a way that we could bridge it where you can. There are courses, MIT, you could take their courses online. Obviously, I don't think you get a degree out of it, but there has to be a way that this can be bridged. I'm not saying we have the solution on how to do that, but we have enough smart minds that if we get this together, if we get the group together, it's, it can be accomplished. And just like Dizzy Fish reaching out to us, Joe has mentioned it's that he loves the idea. Matt Willis has said that he wants to start something like this at Rutgers. So the want is there, the need is there, the how is what we need to figure out.
Yep.
Right. And that's probably the easier part than the how and the need. So,
and I think your ETC connection is big there. Again, I know I've mentioned a few times, but we have an upcoming event. Previously CCUMC. But we have that upcoming event in April where we're going to see a lot of our friends, Jen, Chris, oodles of other people that I think you've mentioned, most of the other people. I want to make sure we mentioned everybody. Sharaz, there you go. I think that was everybody. I think that's it. I think that's the biggest thing is inviting people with open arms. Like we're not trying to silo this. We're not trying to corner the market. We're just really stoked. Like this is just really cool for us. It's actually like it sounds corny, but it's kind of a dream come true for the two of us. I came up with a business degree and a higher education and a degree in, I was going to be a math teacher. So like George mentioned, if I never took that job with him back in 2004, I mean, again, I guess I owe that all to my wife who met George previously and worked for him. So shout out to her for that.
Just a couple of years ago.
Just a couple of years before that. Ago, as you say. So shout out there. But like it's like that path. Not all of us take that. It's not all that straight and narrow path. We all get to this AV world some different way, and to be able to collaborate and have some sort of pot of gold at the end of the rainbow there. Oh, look at that! It was a St. Patrick's Day reference on St. Patrick's.
Pull out your hat; it's right there. Pull it out.
Hold on.
There you go.
Oh, there we go.
There we go. How's that?
If you're not watching the video, Rich has now moved to a leprechaun green hat. So, all right, guys, this is awesome. I am quite excited about it. As somebody who's watched this space for a long time, and this is something that's been needed for a long time. Rich Miller, George Chacko, thank you guys so much from Pace University. How do people connect with you? Socials, email, however you guys want to do it.
Yeah, awesome. Thanks, Tim. We appreciate your time. You can find us both on LinkedIn, again, Rich Miller or George Chacko, but mainly we love to chat with you on any of our socials, at Bald AV Guys on any of the socials, Twitter, Instagram, TikTok. And you can also listen to our podcast, Cables, Coffee, and Curveballs on Spotify, Apple Music, all that fun stuff. So thank you so much, Tim. We really appreciate your time.
Absolutely. I am not allowed on the Bald AV Guys Twitter.
Well, actually, we welcome people with
we like
luscious locks.
We might put you on the spot about it, but hey.
All right. Thank you guys so much. For me, for AVNation, go by our website, avnation.tv. It's avnation.tv. I'll make sure that Mitchell puts the links to this, to everything on this episode's page. So thanks so much for watching. Thanks so much for listening. This has been an AVNation special.